Hey guys, alright, today we are talking about percent of change. Your objective for today, you will be able to solve application problems involving percents. Make sure you write down everything that you see on each slide and make sure you write down everything that I write down. Alright, so first of all, what is a percent of change? The percent of change is the percentage a quantity increases or decreases from its original amount. Keep in mind that if a quantity increases, it's getting greater in quantity or bigger. If it decreases, then it's getting smaller in quantity or less in quantity. So to find the percent of change, you want to use this formula right here. So you're going to take the amount of increase or decrease, and then you're going to divide by the original amount. Keep in mind that when you see that line, that means you're going to divide. Now, to find the amount of increase or decrease, you are going to take the bigger number minus the smaller number. That's the amount of increase or decrease. When you get that, you will put that in your numerator. All right, so let's do a couple of examples together. Example 1. Ms. Sarrett's class size changed from 25 students to 28 students. Find the percent of change in the number of students. All right, I have the steps listed right here. So step 1, we want to subtract the bigger number minus the smaller number. So our bigger number here would be 28. And I'm going to subtract the smaller number, which is 25. And 28 minus 25 is 3. And then we know that that's the numerator. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my division problem that's going to look like a fraction. 3 is going to go in the numerator. Then for the denominator. Okay, step 2 says the denominator is the original amount. Well, if Ms. Sarrett's class size changed from 25 students to 28 students, that means it started at 25 students. So that's the original amount. So I'm going to put 25 in the denominator. All right, now step 3, I want to divide. And remember, top dog is in the house. So the top dog would be 3. So when I divide, I'm going to have 3 in the house and 25 on the outside. 25 cannot go into 3, so I have to add a decimal and a 0. Decimal goes up. 25 goes into 30 one time. So I'm going to subtract 25 and I get a remainder of 5. I have a remainder, but no numbers left to bring down, so I'm going to add a 0 and bring it down. 25 goes into 50 2 times with a remainder of 0. So I get 0.12 or 12 hundredths. Now my fourth step, I'm going to change that decimal to a percent. So I'm going to take 0.12 and I want to change it to a percent. So I'm going from decimal to percent, which means I'm going to dip to the right. So I'm going to move the decimal right 2 places. So that means I have 12%. And then for step 5, I'm going to label it an increase or a decrease. So we know that the amount, the percentage of change is going to be 12%. We have to decide if that's an increase or a decrease. Well, if Ms. Sarrett's class size changed from 25 to 28, if it's going from 25 to 28, that means the class size got bigger. The class size got bigger. So this would be an increase. So it is a 12% increase. And that would be your final answer. All right, example 2. A jacket at $48 is on sale for $30. Find the percent of change and the price of the jacket. All right, so step 1, we want to subtract the bigger number minus the smaller number. 48 is the bigger number, so I'm going to do 48 minus 30, and I get a difference of 18. Now, that's going to be the numerator. So when I come to step 2 and I set up my fraction for division, I'm going to have 18 over the original amount. And the original amount, well, let's look up here. A jacket is $48 and it's now on sale for $30. So originally it was $48. So 48 would go in my denominator. So now I have my formula set up. Now step 3, I want to divide. And remember, top dog goes in the house. So that means 18 is inside, 48 is outside. 48 cannot go into 18, so I have to add a decimal and a 0. Decimal goes up. 48 goes into 180 3 times, which is 144. So when I subtract that, I'm going to borrow. I get a remainder of 36. Now I have to bring down a 0. And then 48 goes into 367 times, which is 336. And I have to borrow. I get a remainder of 24, so I have to add on another 0. 48 goes into 245 times, which equals 240. I get a remainder of 0, and now I'm done. So in step 4, that means that our decimal is 0.375, or 375 thousandths. Now I want to change the decimal to a percent. I'm going from a decimal to a percent, so I have to dip to the right. So I go right 2 places, and that equals 37.5%. And finally, in step 5, I know that the percent of change is 37.5%, but I need to decide if it's an increase or a decrease. Well, if the jacket was originally $48 and now it's $30, it has gone down in price. Down in price, that means that this is a decrease. So it is a 37.5% decrease, and that would be your final answer. All right, now it's time for you to try numbers 1 and 2. Try those on your own. Make sure you show all of your work. Even if you're not sure what to do, I want you to at least try, and then we will all be available to answer any questions that you have whenever you come back to class with your notes. So, do the you try. Make sure you have recorded everything and have your notes ready for us to grade whenever you come back to class. Have a good evening, and I will see you on Monday.